What up everybody, this is AJ Auto and we have a 2013 Hyundai Santa Fe. We're going to be doing the front brake pads because they're squeaking, and we might do the back ones, we'll check them out, but definitely the front ones here. If you already know how to remove a tire, fast forward to 3 minutes and 35 seconds. If you're brand new to this, keep watching. So here's what you're going to need. You're going to need a stool or something to sit on, a seat, something like that. Jack, wrench set, the brake pads, obviously the new ones, the rubber stoppers, WD-40, brake cleaner, grease, wire brush, hammer, your jack stand obviously for safety, a file, breaker bar or impact wrench, and then you have your torque wrench. That's quite important. And this is what I have, right? You could have less, you could have more, but this works for me, and this is what you need. And I'll link the full list in the description below. So the next step is to break free your lug nuts. What you want to do is break these free. Don't take them off completely, obviously. Just break them free. They're loose, and then we're going to jack it up on the side there. So I've already broken up mostly all of these. This is the last one to break. And there we go. So now all of these are free to move. The next step is to install our rubber pads, or rubber stoppers they're called. I'm going to put them in the back, the rear one, because we're doing the front brakes. And now we're on the other side. There we go, good to go. Alright, so when you jack it up, right, you want to put your hand underneath here and feel the weld. There's a weld down here. Let's try to get it to show you guys. So this is the jack right here, you can see, and this is the weld we're talking about. So there's a little groove here that you can kind of use to put it right here. As long as you're on the weld, you're good to go. Alright, we're going to jack this up. So what happens while you're jacking, if you do not have these rubber stoppers here, what goes to happen is this car starts to move forward. The wheels will start to rotate as you keep going higher and higher. And that is a cause for concern, because if your jack tips over, this whole thing's gonna go boom. So that's why you would definitely want to have these rubber stoppers right there. All right, let's jack it up. See that? You saw that? That spinner right there. And now the car, the tire, is up in the air. Yeah, that's good enough for me. Alright, so we have a jack stand here. I could put it either on the right side or the left side of it. Doesn't really matter. I have some space on the left today, so I'll just put it over here. Alright, so I've gotta again find that weld. It's right there. Jack it up. So there's two ways of doing this. I could either bring the car back down and rest it on the jack stand, or leave it on this. You know, you're supposed to actually, I think, keep it on the jack stand here, but I like to just keep it on this. It's not going to do anything. This is just more safety precaution right here for the jack stand. Sometimes I'll add one more jack stand on the other side just for safety. Be safe, obviously, but this is good enough for me. What we're going to do is take off the lug nuts now. So it's quite simple. I got my impact drill here. Look at that. Just pops right off. We got here our rotors and brake pads. Let's start servicing them. So this is a 2013, right guys? This is pretty simple. We don't have any electronic parking brake. We don't have any, you know, chips or anything crazy going on here. It's very simple. We got our two screws right here. We got one this we're going to take off here. We got the other one right down here. You can see that. So we're going to take off these two screws, and this whole assembly will pop right off basically. And so in this case, we have a 14 millimeter that's going to be fitting onto these two screws. There's one on top and one on bottom. So what I find is you definitely want to have a hammer with you. So I usually just hold this down here and take a hammer with my other hand and smack it down this way. And all you want to do is just literally open with your hands. Easy peasy. Alright, so the bolts are off. What we're going to do is take this whole housing assembly off. You kind of want to wiggle it, like that, and it's going to come right off. Look at that. So the next step is I usually hang this right on the top here, on the struts. Ideally, I take a little, you know, string or something and just kind of loop this through so this falls. I'm not damaging any brake lines right here. No damage to brake lines. You don't want to mess this up, guys. This is really important. I'm going to take them off. They're squeaking for some reason. I don't know why, but you know, we're just going to toss them out. And look at that. The rotors are nice and clean. These are new. Alright, so the next step is we're going to take off these old hardware. I mean, you could reuse them, but I really don't want to. Out with the old, in with the new. Alright, so we got all this debris here. So we're going to just kind of clean this off. The wire brush, also here, and then also in the back over there. Give it a quick spray. Brush it off a little bit more. Same thing with the back. What many forget to do is service these little guys right here. See how that moves? This is stiff, this is not moving. You're gonna have probably bad brakes, you're gonna probably have wear and tear that is not even. So these are definitely your go-to service points. What we're gonna do is take these guys off. See how that comes right off? Just pull it off, don't pull the boot. And what we wanna do is take this guy, grease it up. Dip it in here, get my grease, and then just put it back in there. That's it. And then it just slides in, and it's so much more smoother. You guys can't even tell, but this is way more smoother now. We want to squeeze this, get the boot over on the edge. The boot should be resting over the top there. If I can get it to fit. Yeah, there we go. Pull this guy off. And look at that. This comes right off. Squeeze that in. And that's more than enough. Let's put this back in here. I got our grease, gonna rub it in. Boom. Yeah, smooth and smooth. Look at that. Alright, so we got our new brake pads here. These are actually different. I had the other box before, but these are the correct ones because I didn't take out the right ones. Double check that these are the right ones. Make sure they're the right size. Fits perfectly, and we're good to go. Here is your brake pad set. One of them has little things sticking out. This part, this piece, goes in the back. When your brake pad gets too thin, this will start rubbing against your rotor, and it'll squeak. You need to change me right away. The more you keep driving with this, you're gonna see a line come into your rotor, and it's gonna carve into it. Avoid it, because it's gonna ruin the rotor. This should slide down pretty easy. I kind of squeezed this really well, so it should slide right in. Put a bit of grease in the corners here. I've done it here and there. It doesn't make a big difference, but the slide's perfectly fine. Like, look, it's so smooth already, so it works out pretty well. All right, so what happened is I put the back on, and this is so stiff. Look how tight this. I can't even slide this. This is not good. When this happens, your piston is going to push against the back of this brake pad. This is not going to slide. It's going to be really stiff, right? It's going to push the front one way more in. Now you're going to have uneven wear on your brake pad and your rotor, and you're going to prematurely wear both of them, and it'll cost you more money. So you want to make sure that this slides in really nicely, as I already did. Mine came off. Put this back in. Perfect. And this one does too. How to fix this? I'll show you how. You take it out, grab your file. I got my file right here, and you file the edges down, and this should make it fine. Some people say, oh man, you're taking off the paint, it's gonna rust. By the time it gets to the rusting point, this is gonna be done. Don't have to worry about any of this. Shiny little thing there, I filed these down as well. Nothing happened. It's totally fine. Alright guys, so I filed this down. You can see all this bare metal right there on both sides, and watch this fit now. This is with no grease, nothing. It's gonna slide right in. Look at that. See that? You got some play here. We got some play here. There's more play on this one, but this is totally fine. Sometimes I'll take some grease, I'll put it on the ends that I filed right here, and also on this end right there, and that's it. And we'll put it back. That's all. Your brake pads are done basically. Now next up is we're gonna put this back here, but you're gonna find that this might not fit. See that piston there? This is already protruding out, and this chunk here, because your new brake pads, is going to be wider. So next we're going to have to squeeze this down before we install it back onto the housing. You want to use this giant C-clamp right here and compress the brake piston to pretty much almost zero, and then slide it over this. So what you want to do is you want to take your old brake pad and put it right by the piston. Take your C-clamp, put one end here, the other end there, and all you gotta do is rotate. If I keep rotating this, this will push the brake piston all the way down. That's all. Alright, so I've compressed this down. This is good to go. Take the brake pad off. And what we're gonna do now is lift this, and we're gonna put it back on. Just like that. And that's all. Next up, we're gonna put the screws back in, one on the top, one at the bottom. Alright, so we got these two screws in right here. We got 1 and 2. All I did is I sprayed some WD-40 on the screw itself before putting it in. It just helps it tighten a lot more easily. These are hand tight already, both of them. And next up, what we're gonna do is grab our wrench, and we're gonna tighten it. One tight, snug pull towards me, and that's pretty good to go. There we go. I'm probably over tightening them, to be honest, but you know, it's not that bad. It's fine. Alright, so now that we've tightened this is good to go. There's a bit of gap between the brake pad and the piston. After you've done both sides, go in the car, you want to pump the brakes, So this thing gets pushed and pushed flush with the brake pad. So we're now going to put the wheel back, take some WD-40, clean out these threadings, spray this down, and put the wheel back. That's it. I sprayed a little bit more WD-40 on the threads. Some people say that it's going to change the torque. You put it on. It's honestly, like, I've done this for like 4 years. I have no issue with it. My rotors have never been warped. What this helps with is it doesn't rust. It comes off really smooth. As long as you torque it to the right torque, I torque it to 80 foot-pounds, you're good to go. So we got our lug nuts here. We're going to put them up and should be good to go. All right, so one of the most important things that we have here is the tightening pattern. Start with the top, right? You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This doesn't actually get too tight. It's going to be a nice snug fit. So we're going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's on it pretty well. What we're going to do is take this down, unjack it, bring the car down, and we're going to use our torque wrench. Set it to 80 foot-pounds. Once it's down on the ground, you want to tighten up in the same bolt pattern. This one, second, third, fourth, fifth. Each car has different foot-pounds. You want to check the owner's manual or Google it online to see how much foot-pounds is for your car. Alright guys, there you have it. So we did this side already. The next step is to do the exact same method on the other side. And once you're done, you did the front brake pads. This is AJ Auto. If you have any questions, comment, subscribe. I'll be happy to answer whatever I can. Take care.